Howdy diddly dandy there, chums. It's I, Captain Stephen. Today we're playing Stray on PlayStation 5, and I'm going to give it a bit of a review, and I'm going to be letting you know whether I would purchase this game. It's not a full price game. It's around about £25 in UK monies. And yeah, it's not a bad little shout, to be fair. You play as a kitty cat, and you're jumping about inside a sort of cyberpunky type world. You're not in the cyberpunky type world to start out with. You're in this sort of vast, sort of outside urban-y jungle type place that looks like nature's taken itself back with your kitty catty friends, which seems all lovely and jubbly. However, your kitty catty friends manage to make a jump that you don't quite make. Here you go, I'll let you watch. You meet your peril and into the story. So here goes. His little eye peepers, you can really see that he's shiting his pants at that point, can't you? They've really captured the cat animations freaking well. Yes, and you're thrown into this underbelly, this sewer type area, and you slowly traverse into this world full of robots. Yeah, you don't find the robots straight away. You have to sort of progress a little before you get there, but I'm loving all the lighting effects and the puddles and things like that with the extra ray tracing. There's also some haptic feedback at times on the joypad. I think they could have utilised it a little bit more on PlayStation 5. But yeah, pretty darn freaking nice. Visually, it's quite a stunning game to look at. The animations are lovely. I like these little nods, like how you can walk across the keyboard and scamper in a load of sort of stuff on screen, which is pretty darn freaking cool. And then, yeah, it actually unlocks a door to your right there. And this is where you sort of realise you're not quite alone in this sort of sewer type complex. And the game starts to open up a little more. You want to rejoin your catty friends, yeah, in the outside world. But to do that, you've got to help these robots in getting to where they want to get to. And the way that you do that is you've got this little droid that accompanies you called B15, I believe. Yeah, he follows you around and B12. It's on his freaking face. I just saw it. But anyway, he actually reads out stuff and he communicates with the droids for you. And you and him as a duo are going to make your way through this wonderful world. Isn't he beautifully animated? So the interactions between you and B12 are really nicely done. Some of the animation in this is on par with something like out of Pixar, and it's got a very sort of Wall-E-esque type vibe to it. I also had a little robot once called Cosmo, and I'm getting those sort of vibes from this game as well. There are puzzle elements. So this one here, you can see there's a code on this sort of like whiteboard. I memorised the code, go over to a little pad over here, and you get your little B12 to go and key it in for you. Lovely jubbly, that opens a door. There's quite a few different sorts of puzzles. I didn't see too many puzzles getting repeated through my playthrough of this game. I mean, that keypad, there was one other instance of this where you had to read clock times and then you input that as the code. Yep, and you keep seeing sort of like postcards as a nod to the outside world. Now, some of these droids down in this underbelly, they're also trying to get out of said underbelly, but there's these little sort of tick creatures, what I get to a little bit later, which are the only sort of enemy in this game, but they eat metal, but they also eat organic material. From what I gather from the gist of things within inside of the lore of this is the humans wanted to create a biological organism that eats trash. So they had the best intentions. They created these little guys called Zerks, which actually eat all the sort of rubbish, but after a while they learned how to eat metal and then organic material, and I think they may have ate the humans. It doesn't quite say that in the lore that I managed to uncover, but I haven't uncovered all of the lore, and there is so much to uncover as well. All the nooks and crannies, you can find memory fragments and all other bits and bobs, which I get to in a bit as well, but these little Zerk creature things, I think that's the downfall of humankind. But anyhow, now all that's left are these robots, and they're only in one area of this area, and they can get their power drained by these Zerk things as well anyway, and they actually eat metal, so they can get eaten too, so they're quite scared. They're actually scared of you as a Cattyman cat when they first see you, like, what the fudge are you? You shouldn't be down here. Yeah, they alert all the alarms, all the alarms start going off. But anyway, here's the memory fragments. Now the memory fragments slowly build up in the memory of B12, and he starts to remember who made him, his programmer, and yet that that sort of gives you the lore fragments that I've been slowly stitching together to get an idea of what may have happened to the humans. And there's subtle hints that there may still be a human inside of games somewhere. But yeah, to be fair, I've put this game down. I got so far, I got about 2 hours in and I thought, you know what, this isn't for me. And there's a good reason why this isn't for me, despite all the good story and all sorts of other things. In fact, we're about to hit a good story element here, and I'll tell you why this isn't quite for me after this story fragment. Before I hit on why this game isn't really for me, I mean, there are other bits that I did like. It's like there where I could get through that sort of like little vent and things. Because you're a cat, you know, the world is freaking open. It's your playground, which I really liked. The fact that it's multiple leveled and it's not just the underbelly. You have to climb up really high, go through different windows, go through little areas that you kind of, sometimes you forget you're a cat and that you can just go through some railings or something. You're looking around for a while going, where do I freaking go? And then you work out where you can go. But the main reason that I don't really feel this is for me is you're a cat and it's quite agile and you're quite quick as a cat, but you've really got a certain amount of things that you can do. And one of the things of being a cat is being agile. But in this, you just point where you want to go, press the button and you jump there. In fact, you can just hold down X the whole time and it does all the jumping and everything for you, which kind of takes out all the skill and of the being of the agile of the cat. There's no balancing across stuff. You can just walk across it. There's no risk of falling and dying that way. The only real way you can die is if these tick things overload you and they munch you to death and you die, and then you respawn at your last checkpoint. And it makes resaves as you're going along anyway, so you're never going to respawn too far back. However, what I have found is if you turn the game off and turn it back on again, that doesn't apply. It just throws you back to the last time you rested somewhere, which can be really freaking tedious. So yeah, be careful when you turn this game off. Make sure you've done a proper save. Otherwise you might lose a heck of a lot of progress, which I did. And then I was like, you know what, I can't be asked to do all that again, because there was so much talking, so much that I unlocked, so many things that I scanned that I probably would never find again because it was just sheer freaking chance that I found them. So that's why I got peed off and thought, no, I just can't be arsed with it. The story itself is fairly engaging, but at the same time, I didn't really care too much if I got rejoined back up with my catty friends, to be honest. I like the robots more than the cats, so I'm happy to stay in the underbelly and make my life there, to be honest, because yeah, there's only so many interactions you can have with a cat, and you had all of those at the start of the game. So I'm going to give this an 8.1 out of 10. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it more than me. It was an enjoyable game. It's just not for me because of the whole point and click type feature. Until next time, goodbye, and goodbye again. Well, thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see, please hit a like and a subscribe, and I'd like to say a massive great big thank you to all of my backers over on Patreon and over on YouTube membership. Thanking you, backers. And if you want to support this channel, just don't skip the adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or yeah, just stay with Captain Steve that little bit longer and hit something on this screen. There's merch here now too.